Hi, my name is Matthew Chan, and I'm the author of the Turnkey Publisher series. And I want to tell you a story about a conversation that I had with a friend of mine. He recently graduated from college with an engineering degree. And in graduating, he's going into this very tough job market in a very deep recession. And one of the things that I told him that in order to successfully get your foot in the door is that he had to take more aggressive and more progressive measures. He had to take more aggressive and progressive measures. And one of the things that I suggested was when he submitted his resumes that he employed some publishing principles. These were principles that I followed back in the early 1990s. Okay, this was before the internet was ever around. This was before the PCs was very commonplace. This was even before Windows ever became very popular. And one of the things that I did to make myself stand out from my competitors is I incorporated publishing principles such as logos, fonts, using styles, using tight wording, and using important phrases. Now, the interesting thing about what I just said was, of all these techniques that I talk about is, they are still used today in traditional publishing, or if you do your own publishing. And yet, to this day, no one ever talks about using these publishing principles in their own resumes. Because what everyone has been taught is that, oh, go buy a book on resumes and go type it on this single typewriter font in this exact format, all on one sheet of paper. That you have to, and it has to be this format. And yet the reality is, I know, because I've hired people and I've been on both sides of the interview fence, is that fundamentally people are people. So people are attracted to professional looking resumes, for example. They want something that's easy to read, they want something that communicates, okay, and they want something that is impactful. And yet, to this day, when I talk to my friend, it's like beating my head against the wall. And part of the problem is he's surrounded by traditionalists, okay? And so what I mean by traditionalists is simply saying, hey, you know what, there's a job, let's get a resume out there and let's send it out there and hope that someone will respond. And the thing about it is, even back in the 1990s, when I was in the corporate world, I never did that. At least not exclusively that. I would be much more aggressive in the marketing myself. I would use very innovative techniques because I would always be thinking about what does the other person want to see and what will make a difference to them if they're checking me out. They're going to be checking out, they're looking for specific things, and every position is unique. And what we offer as people, or as individuals, is unique. And so what you have to do is customize your packaging and presentation so that the other person can recognize the things that are special in you. And the reason why I'm talking about this is, in a roundabout way, is that this is leading up to the fact that the book is the new business calling card. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, gosh, there's a ton of people who already have books out there. I mean, gosh, my book isn't going to be any different or may not make any impact. That may or may not be true. But what I know is true is there's a ton of people who have bachelor's degrees and there's a ton of people who have master's degrees. There are also a ton of people who have good grades. And I learned that very early on. How do you separate yourself when there's so many people that have the same things as you do? Now, this is what I say to those people. Yes, writing a book may not automatically get you a job. It may not necessarily make you smarter. But it does weed out a whole segment of the population, especially in the business world, if they have not written a book. Now, from where I stand as an author, to me, I was like, holy smoke. Sometimes I think, gosh, I'm going to write a book. or another book, and I think to myself, well, what difference is it going to make? Because in the circles that I compare myself with, all the people are authors and speakers and so forth. Does that make any sense? So it's really, the ante always goes up as you achieve more. And the point I'm trying to make has nothing to do about me bragging or anything like that, or toot my own horn. What I'm trying to tell people is, if you're affluent, you're a professional, you're a consultant, you're an entrepreneur, you have a lot of competitors. And one of the things that has worked for me tremendously is by becoming a publisher and author. And I've always done it part-time, and just having that book out is a symbol that separates you from many people. And it has become the new business calling card. All you have to do is look around at the CEOs of the major companies, okay, and see what they've accomplished. Anyone who wants to run for office has written a book. You'll notice all the politicians, senators and congressmen, they all seem to have a book prior to them running for office. There are consultants and speakers who also write books and so forth. Again, it is in those circles, it becomes your calling card. So you have a decision to make. The question you have to ask yourself is, do you want to stay where you're at and keep playing by the same old rules, or are you willing to raise the ante up and raise your credibility up and take your credentials up a notch by adding a book or an audio program to your credential list, to your list of qualifications? That is a question that only you can answer. I'm always looking for the edge, and if you're a big believer in the college degree and the master's degree, where you devote 4 to 8 years of your life and several thousands of dollars in tuition and fees and all that, why wouldn't you consider investing maybe a few months of your time and a couple $1,000s and so forth into a book and audio program that you can call yours for the rest of your life? Think about it. Thank you for listening to this video, and I'll see you in my next video.